it, and it's going to be a huge loss to the tri-state area.
Harvey Nagler, Tim Sheld, Chris Quimby, our present managers. We have about 30 managers out there, and no one has yet come in here to yell at us for blowing the format up. We didn't get the traffic and weather together on the 8th this time. We will not be doing it after Monday. But you know what we're going to do? Just this one time. One more time.
One more time?
Set your time to WCBS News 88. 4 tones will follow. The 4th and final tone marks the exact time.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. Democratic convention delegates are set to give the presidential ticket what's likely to be a rousing send-off tonight. CBS's Matt Piper is in Chicago today.
WCBS 880 News, The People.
Monday in the morning at News Radio 88, WCBS.
Steve Fridays on WCBS News Radio 88, Mobile Unit number 1.
The Moment.
An unidentified man who is apparently walking on a tightrope between the towers of the World Trade Center.
The events that shaped our lives.
All I can tell you is there were severe electrical storms to the north, just prior to the blackout here.
Strike Schmike, enough already.
The anxiety is setting in about how I'm going to get home, and I haven't gotten to work yet.
Here's Wayne Cabot, Homer Name, and Bridget Quinn.
It's a rare thing to have a New York politician who actually understands how the radio works and what it's like to be on the radio and the challenges of radio. But we were lucky to have that with the former governor of New York, David Paterson, on the line.
Governor Paterson, wow, it's great to have you back on the radio again. It's been a little while, and I just remember having spoken with you about what a connection this particular radio station has to you. I love that story. Thanks for coming on with us. It means the world.
Well, it's as I was growing up in Long Island, and I couldn't read the newspaper because I'm legally blind, and the television had not embraced the news the way it has today. This was really my interest at first when WINS started in 1955. Then News Radio 88 in 1957, which I liked more because, first of all, I like to hear the news without hearing a teletype behind it. And secondly, because I just thought that the coverage was more extensive. And I remember in 1968, and I believe the newsman was Palmer Payne, he delivered the message that Martin Luther King had been murdered in Tennessee. And just, big moments where my first understanding of it came from listening to this station. I'm really sorry that this is going away.
Yeah, we are too. And I know how meaningful it was to all of us when you became governor of New York, and suddenly we had the inside track. That was nice. How you doing, by the way? How you doing?
The station.
we think about you a lot. We really do. And we revere our listeners, and there's so many over the years, and you probably had the most success of any of them. And I hear you on the radio still. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I hear you on the radio still. You got your opinions. It's an interesting time in American history, and it's getting more and more difficult, isn't it, in this news environment to get real information out?
It really is, and I think that was what the standard of when all news stations first came on was not only to report the news, but to report it accurately and not to jump to conclusions sometimes as you see in the print media. And that's why I so appreciated listening to the station. I remember the first day prior to the station coming on, they had a psychiatrist whose name was Dr. Rose Franzblatt. And she used to do pieces on 88. So then they incorporated her into the whole news channel, news station. But that didn't last too long. And they had another daily feature called Spectrum. And it would come on 9 times, and different reporters and people of note would comment and talk about things going on in society. So there was really a tremendous amount of creativity at the station that I always appreciated.
I thought WCBS sounded important, but you raise an important point, too, Governor, that it was really a cast of thousands here. You could turn on this radio station, and maybe that's what made it sound important, that there were so many people involved in putting it together.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, Irene Cornell and so, you know, some of the other news people, and that they would go right in the thick of the fire. Now, I remember one time with you, Paul, when they had this event called the Million Youth March, and they flew a helicopter over it, and it upset the crowd, and they all started running for cover. And as I'm running for cover, I saw you, and we did an interview while we were both fleeing the scene.
I remember that, Governor. I remember that.
Governor David Patterson, you remember the name Bill Fan, don't you?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
A mainstay on WCBS. And I'd like to, Governor, thank you for coming on with us, and I'm going to gift you and all of us with that marvelous voice once again. We heard from his daughter, Robin, just yesterday, and she said, I hope I'll be hearing my dad's voice. Well, here's a classic Bill Fan on WCBS, and wait till you hear how quick the helicopter traffic reporter is, Lou Timelot, when Bill makes a rare gaffe. Here we go.
U.S. Navy has just announced that it has suspended dumping of obsolete munitions in the oceans until all alternative methods of disposal have been studied. And I just got myself in deep trouble with the Musicians Union. Here's Lou Timelot.
Well, Bill, I thought for a minute we had heard the last of Hoagie Carmichael, but I was glad we're just losing some munitions.
As they say, that's a keeper, that one.
Oh, I love that. Hoagie Carmichael reference on WCBS at 12:08.
Here's Tom O'Hamlin with the traffic story, Tom.
You know, that brings back a fun memory. When I was in college, a friend got me a ride in the WCBS traffic helicopter with Lou, and we flew around the Empire State Building antenna. Among other things, we even buzzed Fordham when I was a Fordham student. Well, checking out what's going on in Westchester, we are stacked up on 287 on the westbound side from the...